has a lot on his plate from that perspective. He's having to spend a lot of time with our Dean of Engineering. So anyway, but he still is available if you need to email or call him. Christine, we'll go ahead and go to the next slide and we'll get started. This is our contact information. Dr. Golston, of course, I'm Ronicon Doxson. Donald Taylor, our program consultant, is on the line. And I will let you know now the reason that Christine's name is not on there. Christine has accepted another job, a great opportunity for her, closer to where she lives, which is always good. So she will be leaving us on May the 3rd. And we are very sorry to see her go. We appreciate everything that she's done for us and all the talents that she brought. So for the remainder of our mentor-protege contract for May, June, July, you will just need to contact either me or Donald, and we will help you with whatever you need. Ms. Walter Carr is the DBE contract manager for ALDOT now. Her information is there if you need it also. And then we have our DBE supportive services in the north, Alabama A&M, central region, Mike Self, and the southern region, University of West Alabama. You have Donald, Sherry, and Linda there, and Danielle and Natoya in the north.
Yeah, and I separated out the different regions in case anybody had any announcements. I know I've got a flyer for the A&M and UWA. So if Sherry wants to speak to that, or Danielle, or anybody. Can you see the slide on the financial literacy workshop?
Yes, Christine, I'll go ahead. We're doing this. This is actually the second series of this financial literacy workshop. Are you financially literate, and a financial panel discussion. And that's going to be next Tuesday in Birmingham on April 26th. And it's going to be at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Pelham at 260 Cahaba Valley Road. And the morning session will be presented by Miss Melissa Bledsoe, and she's going to do understanding personal financial literacy, crosses over to being successful with your business. What is financial literacy, and 7 components of financial literacy. And we also have Miss Gina Gorey-Hitchens out of Mobile with GHG that will also be doing a presentation during the morning session. For the afternoon, we'll have a panel discussion that's being moderated by Ms. Gaynell Adams-Jackson with Advanced Planning Services. And that's going to be with a representative from a CDFI, from a couple of other financial entities that will be on that panel that will address, some issues dealing with banking, being bankable, and financing. And that workshop is free of charge.
Okay. We'll go ahead and get starting with the letting slides. I'm going to turn my video off as I go through these just because it's okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we've got 7 projects this month that we're going to go over, a couple in Jefferson. Well, actually, we've got 3 in Jefferson County, so a lot of work going on in the middle part of the state. One SBE project, small business element project, that we're going to talk about. So we'll start with project 1 in Jefferson County. This project has one of the highest DBE goals that we've seen in a while. And even though the bracket estimate is just about $2 million, a little under $2 million, the DBE goal is 10%. So this is a good job for DBEs to look at. There's quite a bit of demolition removal if you are capable of doing that kind of work. Hauling, there's substantial underground utility work on this project. There's a lot of concrete and there's erosion control. So there are several work types that our DBEs do that are on this. And like I said, it's a 10% goal. So if you're in the middle part of the state, this is a good project for you to look at. Next slide. The next project, Project 4, is in Sumter County. There's a 2% DBE goal on this. Bracket estimates $3 million to a little over $3.5 million. Several work types on this. There's demolition, there's hauling, also bituminous scoring on this one, underground utility, quite a bit of that work, concrete, guardrail, and erosion control. So that project also has multiple work types for DBEs to look at. Next project. Next project 8 is in Marion County. It's a 2% DBE goal, but it's a very large project. Bracket estimate, a little over $15.5 million to $19 million. Work types, demolition, hauling. There is bituminous scoring on this one also, guardrail, and erosion control. So not as many work types as the first couple of projects, but still with this large project, there'll be a lot of work. Next slide. Next project 26 is Walker County. There's only a 1% DBE goal on this, but there are a couple of work types. It's about a $3 million to $3.5 million bracket estimate. There's demolition, hauling, and there's bituminous scoring on this one also. Next project. Project 30, we're back in Jefferson County. There's a 2% goal on this, bracket estimate $2 to about $2.5 million. This is another project that has multiple work types, demolition, guardrail, hauling, bituminous scoring, concrete. There is concrete work in this project, and erosion control. Next slide. This project 36 is also Jefferson County. This also has a nice DBE goal, it's 6%. Bracket is a little over $6 million to about $7.7 million. Multiple work types on this one, demolition, hauling, lots of concrete work, guardrail. There is still reinforcement on this project. I know several of our DBEs are involved in that. There's underground utility, quite a bit of it on this project, and erosion control. Our last project is a small business element project, which only SBEs certified with ALDOT can bid on these projects. These projects are generally in the like $200 to a little over $500,000 range. This project, Hale and Perry counties, demolition, concrete, erosion control, and traffic markings. So if you know a larger, usually the SBEs are larger DBEs also. So if you know any of them, you might want to get in touch with them. There is a small business element listing on the ALDOT website that lets you know who all the SBEs are that might bid this project. And of course, we will have the tentative bidders when that list is out. I'll send that to you. Next slide. I just wanted to touch on this project a little bit, simply because Sherry, you and Donald can tell me, This is a project that's going to be about $750 million plus. And the proposed Mobile Bridge project that actually didn't happen was a very large project. And ALDOT did all kinds of DBE outreach and I know we had meetings in Montgomery on it. But I haven't heard a lot about this West Alabama project. So I just kind of wanted to touch on it with the DBEs. And then Donald and Sherry, I'll let you kind of tell us what you know about it also. So this project is called the West Alabama Corridor Project. The goal is to connect Tuscaloosa to Mobile via a 4-lane corridor. There is a corridor from Thomasville south to Mobile, but there's not one from Thomasville to Tuscaloosa. So that this is what this West Alabama Corridor Project wants to, that's the goal of it. The first part of it was let in March. And like I said, it's about a $760 million project that's going to go over 5 years. So the first phase, called the Linden Bypass, was let in the March ALDOT letting. W.S. Newell was the winning bidder, and you can see down there the winning bid was about $56 million, and it has a 4% DBE goal. So this is a huge project. That's about $2.2 million worth of DBE work just in this first phase. There is another project that is supposed to let in May. That would be the second phase of this, and I assume it would be about the same amount in the $50 million range. So I just want DBEs to be aware that there are going to be several contracts, probably won by multiple contractors, that are going to happen in this project in the west side of Alabama. And these are going to be projects with significant work that it would be worth traveling for, most likely. So, Donald, do you know, have there been any public meetings about this or meetings with DBEs?
I'm not aware of any meetings with DBEs, but I do know that that's a part of that project that's covering, and they've actually started some of that. And I'm not sure if they've completed all that, because there is some work that's being done on Highway 5 up from Thomasville too, as a part of that. But I'm not aware of anything specific that they've done with DBEs on it.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought it was strange that usually if there's a project this big, ALDOT will do some outreach and some meetings, and I just haven't heard anything about it. Donald, is there anything you want to add? I know you're keeping up with this project too.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I do have a question for Donna Mills. You say you know some things that's been going on. Have they sent you guys any kind of correspondence in the area? Have your DBEs inquired about it at all in your area about that particular project?
No, I have not seen anything, or we have not received anything from any of our DBEs inquiring about it. Now, I did get an inquiry about another project that I've not heard anything about. Have you all heard anything about this proposed Interstate 14 that's supposed to be coming through central Alabama? There's some confusion there, because one thing I heard, it was going to be Highway 84 coming all the way from east side of the state over to Mississippi. And then I heard that it was part of this Highway 80 project that the state has been talking about for the last 10 or 15 years.
No, I haven't heard much about that. But in reference to this particular one, I was thinking then that because there's a lot of DBEs in that Mobile area all the way up to right below Birmingham, or even a little bit higher, that's in the radius of this project, maybe we should create some kind of correspondence to go out to the DBEs and kind of market, because a lot of that is add an additional 2 lanes, correct? So that's a lot of hauling, a lot of, stuff that DBEs kind of like would do that we have in our program, bridge, all that stuff. So maybe we should all get together and try to do some kind of communication then to the DBEs in the state about this particular project, so they can be more aware of it, and then the lettings that's coming out relating to it, and the prime contractors that's bidding on it. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's a good idea. We can maybe look at possibly doing something around that.
Okay,
Okay.
Monica, that's pretty much what I want to do. Seem like we can get together and try to figure out how we can get the word out more about that particular project.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Next slide. Oh. Does anybody have questions or anybody have any more announcements, questions on any particular letting project or anything else?
It come out of a highway from Huntsville, down right here.
Do any of the supportive services have any announcements? Okay, that's all I've got. Oh, no, wait, we have more slides. Is that the first slide of this, Christine? I think it is. Okay. It's interesting that UWA and A&M are doing the financial literacy workshop, because I had someone contact me from a CDFI, and I will admit I did not know that much about the CDFI program. So I'm going to do a couple of slides on small business banking and financing options. The community development financial institutions, this gives a little bit about their vision and mission. They are specialized community-based institutions, and you can see it says there, their primary mission is to promote economic development by providing financial products and services to people and communities underserved by traditional financial institutions. So Mr. Nichols at ALDOT had gotten a call from a CDFI that's actually an online entity called Lendistry. And he directed them to the Mentor-Protégé Program. And somehow I ended up being the person that talked to them. So they gave me a lot of information on their particular company, like I said, which is called Lendistry. But I just wanted to know in general about some of these institutions. So I did a little research. So CDFIs are certified by the U.S. Department of Treasury. They can be credit unions, banks, venture capital funds. The types of services they provide can vary depending on what they specialize in, but they do financial services, financial education, and they also do affordable lending. Next slide. So Donald and Sherry and Danielle, I'm not sure which CDFI you guys have coming to talk, but there is a listing at this link that I've got here on this slide, and it lists all the CDFIs in Alabama in the different areas, and they are mostly in rural, underserved areas. But there's one in Birmingham, there's one in Huntsville, so they are in some bigger areas also. Next slide. So this just tells a little bit about them and, you know, what kind of money they put into Alabama. I'm going to let everybody, when Christine sends this out, go over this a little bit closer. And actually, maybe the better people to ask questions, you're welcome to email me and ask me questions, but Donald, Danielle, Sherry, you guys may have more information after this financial class that you're doing. But since I had talked to this, one of the vice presidents at the online lender, Christine, go ahead and go to the next slide. I think that has their two companies on there. Yeah, so the individual I talked to was with the Lendistry, and that's in the center of the screen in the purple block. There are a couple of other online, Fundera and Cabbage, which they're CDFIs that do essentially the same thing, but they are all online. And so when I talked to the VP at Lindustry, you know, she was extremely nice. I think they work all over the country, but I didn't know if DBEs would be that comfortable doing a completely online service for financing and things like that. So that's when I researched the CDFIs that are in Alabama that are brick and mortar that you can walk into and talk face to face with someone. So, you know, like I said, it was just something that came to us through ALDOT. They asked if we could take the phone call and talk to this company. You know, I think they're just trying to talk to as many entities as they can that they think might have clients to work with them. So I'm not advocating for anybody, whether it's online, brick and mortar, whatever. I just wanted DBEs to be aware that there's some options out there.
So, Ronica, one of the things that I would like to comment, if it's okay, Mr. Mills and Ms. Stoudemire, Mr. Lane, myself, and Dr. Thomas, and Ms. Sterling, we had a workshop, what was it, last month in Birmingham that covered some of the same folks that you just mentioned, Cabbage and the others,
Okay.
in terms of help for the DBEs. But we often do, including the one that's coming up, we often do partner with True Fund, Lyft, another bank called Sabre that are kind of in that same arena. So if DBEs are interested in partnering or connecting with any of those, they can certainly reach out to any of us, me, Mr. Mills, Ms. Stoudemire, Mr. Lane, Dr. Thomas, and Ms. Sterling, to get more information about that. So we do have existing partnerships with a good deal of those organizations. The online ones, the reason why that was so interesting was because we just covered that, like I said, in the workshop we just had in Birmingham last month. So I didn't know much about the online ones. I'm accustomed to partnering with some of the folks that we just mentioned.
Okay. And I am not sure why Mr. Nichols, it's just because I guess we've worked with him before. He's the one that does the approvals for the pre-qualified primes and the SBE and some other stuff. And so he just said, well, maybe talk to them. And so I had, you know, it just came to me. It was like, well, you take this call. And I was like, well, okay. So like I said, you guys are much more knowledgeable in that than I am. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because I had to take that call. But it sounds like
Veronica, Mr. Grover Brown with Community Enterprise Investments. He that is a CDF, CDIF that he covers the Panhandle of Florida and the state of Alabama. He will be on the panel representing CDFIs for the upcoming financial literacy workshop. And that there's a segment that he'll share with some of the products that they offer, and they do lending, and some of their lending can be done with SBA guarantee and stuff.
Okay. So I would just encourage the DBEs then to attend y'all's seminar, and if they're interested in any of that. But the slides will go out, so all that information will be on there if anybody wants to look at it. That's all we had. Does anybody have any questions, comments? If not, we are finished for this letting seminar. I will get the tentative